Hello and welcome back. Hello and welcome back. It's a new day and abundance is here. My name is Bisola Miriam, and today we're still talking about the childhood trauma and narcissistic abuse. This is the childhood trauma and narcissistic abuse series, and today we are looking at another form of childhood trauma. Another form of childhood trauma under abuse is emotional abuse. Another form of childhood trauma under abuse is emotional abuse. I must tell you that this one, I experienced it as a child, as a teenager, and even as a woman who was married, for 10 years. Okay, so I experienced this as a child, I experienced this as a teenager, and worse still, I experienced it in my previous marriage. Now, emotional abuse does not leave you with physical scar, right? Nobody sees someone, no one hits you, nobody slaps you, nobody kicks you, nobody, whips you, right? But those scars are there, especially because no one is seeing it, right? And again, it's not like a situation where so now for context, let me give some examples. When I was younger, I remember that every time my mother was angry, she would come home and start to rant. She's either ranting about what was not done in the kitchen, what wasn't done properly. And so every time she would rant, she would say things like, look at you, you're such a useless child. That's why you want to stress me, Abby. You're not stressing, you want to stress me, right? You're not stressing your father, but you're stressing my life. Am I the only single mother? Am I the only mother? And so I saw a pattern of abuse growing up, emotional abuse from my mother, and of course more physical abuse yes, I also experienced physical abuse from her, and I already explained that in the previous episode. And guess what? This continued. Was a pattern that I was familiar with, so much more that in my teenage years and even in my adult life, I was used to being abused. For instance, if a teacher says something terrible about my handedness as a left-handed child, I could not say anything because this was something I was used to already. Moving on, I got married and I ended up in a toxic relationship. And abuse, or let me say emotional abuse, was the order of the day. I mean, imagine your partner coming back, things are not the way they should, and then your partner begins to say that you were not raised well by your mother, and that's why your mother is going to be single for life. You people do not know how to take care of men, very terrible things that this person would come back home and say to me. And I also remember that even when I decided that I was going to end this marriage with this person, I was receiving a lot of terrible messages that were laden with all sort of emotionally abusive languages. And why am I sharing all of this? I'm helping you to understand that, see, when there is a pattern from your childhood, there is the tendency to normalize it even as you grow older. So if you were abused emotionally as a child, your default agrees with the idea that that's normal, it's okay. And so when you see those patterns later in life as a teenager, as an adult, you are most likely going to normalize it because it's a familiar pattern from your childhood. And if you're not careful, it is going to be a pattern that you would endure or have to deal with in a marriage, or even in a work relationship or a friendship, any kind of relationship. And so it is very important that you also understand that emotional abuse is real. In fact, it is even much more much more common than physical abuse. And worse still, it leaves you with no scar. And so people tend to not believe you when you say that you are being emotionally abused. In fact, people minimize your experience. They say things like, it's normal. That is the way people talk. When people get angry, they talk like that. Remember that everyone is not toxic. everyone is not abusive. There are people who are working on themselves, so they do not use abusive words or languages around people. And so you should be that person who is intentionally working on himself or herself. Everyone has trauma or baggages they are carrying from their childhood, right? And you should not become toxic because of that. And so do not normalize toxicity. Do not tolerate it, even when you experience it. We understand that if you experienced it in your past as a child, you can do something about the past. How about now? You can do so much more about your now, and you must not accept it, you must not normalize it, and you must stop. And so this is it. And today I have talked to you about emotional abuse as a form of childhood trauma. This trauma, like many other traumas, can even go with you into your teenage years and your adulthood. And so listen, I want you to understand that you are not alone. No matter what you're going through, there is help. Now, meanwhile, my birthday is on May 31st, and I need your help. I need your help because I want as many people as possible to get to know about what I've described in my book. And I want your support. I want you to go to bisolaMiriam.com/becomingbm to give your donations. Go to bisolaMiriam.com/becomingbm to give your donations. When you give your donations, you're helping me to help other people so that those books, that book especially that I've written, can be made available to so many other people who are struggling with past experiences, and these past experiences are keeping them stuck in the now. And I want you to be that hope, and your money, your donations can be that hope, can be that source of hope that we can give to the world and to many more people out there. Thank you so much, and I look forward to having your donations. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Abundance is here, there is no lack, and God bless you. Bye. Take care.